Our White Fox clan is naturally blessed with fertility, making us the most sought-after beast consorts among all tribes. Upon coming of age, the Fox Queen presented 2 secret pills for my sister and me to choose from. My sister chose the Succubus Pill and married the Dragon Prince, hoping to monopolize her husband's favor through seduction arts. Little did she know Prince Jackson cared only for the world's welfare, having no interest in romance. His mastery of the ruthless path cultivation reached perfection. My sister's amateurish seduction techniques couldn't sway him, only earning his greater disdain. Though I married into the lowliest branch of the Tingsha clan, I secured my position as queen by bearing the Snake King 9 dragon heirs with the Divine Embryo Pill. My jealous sister, unable to bear my prosperity, stole my inner core during her congratulatory visit to the Serpent clan. When I reopened my eyes to find myself back at the moment of choosing the secret medicine, watching my sister snatch the Divine Embryo Pill and demand to become the aged Tingsha King's concubine, I knew she had also been reborn. She believed this life would bring her the king's favor and make her the envied queen of Tingsha, yet she didn't know there was a reason why the Tingsha king, despite his advanced age, still had no heir. These are my White Fox clan's rare secret medicines. One is the Temptress Pill, the other is the Divine Embryo Pellet. You sisters must choose for yourselves. The Fox Queen carefully took out an exquisite box from her dressing case. While saying we should choose ourselves, she deliberately glanced at Sister Aurora when mentioning the Temptress Pill. This familiar scene made me realize I had been reborn. Returned once more to this coming-of-age day, the moment of choosing the secret medicine. Although my sister and I are both princesses of the White Fox clan, there is a clear distinction between our statuses. My sister was born to the current Fox Queen, raised with endless pampering and adoration, while I was merely the unwanted fruit of my father's romantic debt during his travels in the human world. Hence the Fox Queen has always despised me. In our past life, it was under her subtle suggestion that my sister unhesitatingly chose the Demon Seduction Pill. For our White Fox clan is naturally fertile, often bearing multiple offspring in a single pregnancy. Moreover, my sister was about to marry the Dragon Prince. Their union would naturally produce superior dragon heirs, making the Divine Fetus Pill an unnecessary measure to enhance their quality. This demonic charm pill is a lowly drug used to ensnare husbands, something proper fox maidens would never stoop to use. Yet it serves perfectly to humiliate me. Coinciding with the old Tingsha king's expansion of his harem, the Fox Queen and my sister conspired, sending me off in a bridal sedan to the Tingsha clan, forcing a young fox like me to serve an ancient serpent on the brink of decay. But after marrying into the Dragon clan, my sister discovered that Crown Prince Jackson cared only for the world's welfare, utterly indifferent to matters of romance, unable to endure the neglect. She tried using seduction arts on Jackson, only to find he had mastered the path of emotionless asceticism to perfection. Freshly dosed with the charm pill and lacking proper refinement, her amateurish allure couldn't possibly sway him. Instead, it was the elder sister's shameless seduction of Jackson and subsequent rejection that became known throughout the realms, leaving her utterly disgraced and hiding in her cave dwelling day after day. Yet I benefited from the Divine Embryo Pill, granting the Serpent King children in his old age, 9 dragon heirs at once, no less. The Serpent clan deemed it a blessing from the Heavenly Father, crowning me as queen with a grand coronation attended by envoys from all clans to celebrate. Consumed by envy at my good fortune, my sister used the congratulatory visit as a chance to bewitch me with her charms and cruelly devour my inner core. I looked at my sister Aurora beside me, her face full of certainty, and clenched my fists tightly, forcibly suppressing the hatred in my heart. Mother Queen, I want the Divine Embryo Pill. Aurora snatched the medicine bottle containing the Divine Embryo Pill and swallowed it in one gulp, afraid that I might take it from her. Aurora, you're crazy. The Fox Queen couldn't stop her in time and shouted anxiously, you're so foolish. You're going to marry the Dragon Prince, with both of your pure bloodlines. Why worry about not producing superior dragon offspring? This Divine Embryo Pill is completely useless to you. This succubus elixir would actually benefit you. The Fox Queen panicked, wishing she could either dig the pill out of her sister's mouth or make her swallow both pills. It's a pity that these Fox clan secret medicines counteract each other's effects. A fox can only take one type. Greedily consuming more will lead to backlash from the medicinal forces. Aurora, however, remained confident and patiently reassured the Fox Queen, Mother, I don't want to marry Jackson. The Serpent King is the one who truly holds my heart. Upon hearing this, the Fox Queen nearly fainted from shock and immediately slapped Aurora across the face. That Serpent King is even older than your father, and you fancy him. You must be really hungry. Indeed, the old Serpent King is advanced in years but has no heir, so he has been taking concubines for many years. For my sister, a noble white fox princess in the prime of her youth, To marry an old man as a secondary consort is truly hard to comprehend. Suppressing a smile, I used the same words they had humiliated me with in my past life to persuade the Fox Queen. Mother, sister has always had good taste. If she has taken a liking to the Serpent King, there must be a reason. Perhaps she admires how older men know how to cherish their wives. Aurora was still lost in her ecstasy and couldn't detect the sarcasm in my words. She even agreed wholeheartedly, telling the Fox Queen, yes, Odessa is right, although the Serpent King is older, his reputation for doting on his wives is well known. I won't suffer if I marry him. The Fox Queen saw Aurora's unwavering determination and realized she couldn't persuade her otherwise. Reluctantly, she nodded in agreement while muttering, what reputation of a doting wife? I've never heard of such a thing. Only then did she remember me. Thrusting the Succubus Pill into my hand, Odessa, I bestow this Succubus Pill upon you. When you live a good life in the future, don't forget your sister's great kindness. It was she who yielded it to you. My eyes lowered, my face remained calm, but inside I was trembling with excitement. Aurora walked to my side and patted my shoulder. Congratulations, little sister, you'll soon be the Dragon Prince's consort. Watching her inability to distinguish right from wrong, I couldn't help but find it amusing. She truly believed the Tingsha King was some caring and considerate old treasure, when in reality he's just a deranged and rotten scoundrel. In the blink of an eye, the day of my sister's and my wedding arrived. The Fox King and Queen prepared a lavish dowry for Aurora, while I only had a shabbier palanquin than in my previous life and a pitiful wedding dress that my sister had rejected. The Dragon Clan sent envoys to fetch us, but my father paid no attention to me, only holding Aurora's hand with a worried expression as he gave her instructions. Watching the heartwarming scene of father-daughter affection before me, I felt a pang of loneliness, but I soon let it go. Aurora would surely face endless hardships with the Tingsha clan, so why should I begrudge her this moment? The higher she was held in esteem by her family, the greater the fall would feel when she faced the Tingsha King. As I boarded the sedan chair, I caught a glimpse of the Tingsha King himself coming to welcome his young bride, reborn into this life. I still tremble instinctively at the sight of him. In my past life, he threw all the dragon children into the furnace before my eyes, refining them into a so-called dragon pill which he swallowed without hesitation. Only then did I realize that the children I endured such torment to bear were merely tools for his ascension to dragonhood. With a fawning expression, he approached Aurora, gazing greedily at his beautiful young wife, unable to conceal the cunning and calculation in his eyes. Originally, he was dissatisfied with me as his concubine, considering my low status and impure bloodline, which naturally affected the efficacy of the dragon pill. His ideal wife was precisely a noble white fox like Aurora with such distinguished lineage. Thus, in my previous life, after I lost my usefulness, he quickly reconnected with the lonely and restless Aurora, and the two of them colluded to steal my inner core, seeing the Tingsha King personally come to fetch her. Aurora shyly lowered her head. You should know that even I, the Dragon Clan's crown princess, only had envoys sent to fetch me, though she's merely a concubine. The fact that the king of the Tingsha clan personally came to receive her shows just how much favor and love King Bo holds for her. Aurora was utterly smug, watching me sitting alone in the small bridal sedan from afar. She transmitted her voice to the Fox clan. Father, mother, you see, I told you the Tingsha King is a considerate and affectionate husband. You can rest assured now. As for my younger sister over there, it looks rather desolate. Could it be that the Dragon Clan is dissatisfied with her status and deliberately giving her a hard time? I retorted with a cold laugh. I heard the Tingsha King has married 98 concubines, and personally welcomed each one every time, with such equal treatment. I truly failed to see where the Tingsha clan's special regard for elder sister lies. Aurora was left speechless by my retort, her face flushing crimson. Gnashing her teeth, she hissed, "Just you wait, there'll come a day when you'll be crying." My father quickly intervened to smooth things over, urging the palanquin bearers to carry me away before turning to bid Aurora a reluctant farewell. I was delivered to Jackson's palace. Jackson practiced the path of emotionlessness, having no interest in matters between men and women. Taking a wife was merely for the sake of producing heirs. The palace maids showed me no respect either. It was clear I wouldn't gain favor. Who would bother currying favor with a crown princess who held only an empty title? Thus, apart from briefly meeting Jackson on our wedding day, I was left neglected in the palace for 3 consecutive months. News of the White Fox clan's crown princess falling out of favor right after marriage spread across all realms, making me the cautionary tale for marriageable young women of every tribe. Meanwhile, ever since Jackson went to the Tingsha clan, he became the object of Bo's intense affection. The two became inseparable, drawing envy from young women of all tribes, until suddenly, war erupted at the Divine Realm's borders. Demonic beasts ran rampant, bringing suffering to the Divine clan's people. and Jackson was ordered to suppress them. I suddenly remembered, in my previous life, it was during this very battle that Jackson fought desperately, sustaining near-fatal injuries that nearly destroyed his 10,000-year cultivation. Upon returning to the Dragon Clan, he entered seclusion for a century. At that time, even though I was far away in the Tingsha clan, I was deeply moved by his self-sacrificing spirit and recognized him as the great hero of the Divine Clan in my heart. However, Aurora mistakenly believed Jackson's seclusion was to deliberately avoid her. She attempted to seduce him with charm magic during his critical healing moment, causing damage to Jackson's primordial spirit. From then on, she was completely rejected by him, although Jackson and I were practically strangers, and I shouldn't have cared about his life or death. I simply couldn't stand by and watch a hero who protected the peace of the Divine Clan get injured without doing anything. Moreover, he was my nominal husband. We were grasshoppers tied to the same rope, sharing both honor and disgrace. So when he led the dragon army to war, I also transformed into a small soldier, blending into the ranks, heading to the battlefield together. I thought my disguise was flawless, but as soon as we left the city, 2 elder brothers appeared before me and brought me before Jackson. "Little fox, why did you follow us?" His voice was cool, betraying no emotion. I forced myself to look up at him, only to be utterly stunned. His face was truly breathtaking. Our White Fox clan has always been renowned for beauty, whether male or female foxes, all possess peerless elegance, yet before him, I felt inadequate for the first time. His sword-like brows were perfectly balanced, his clear eyes like deep pools. Even the most handsome male fox I'd ever seen paled in comparison. "I'm naturally here to protect the Divine Clan." He raised his eyebrows slightly, looking down on me with disdain. Casually summoning 2 soldiers to escort me back to the Dragon Clan, my face fell instantly, and as I was thinking of how to beg him to let me stay, chaos erupted outside the tent. A soldier rushed in to report, "Your Highness, the Demon Clan is attacking. They're less than 5 miles away from us." Jackson's expression turned serious in an instant, his brows unconsciously furrowing. With a swift transformation, he revealed his true form and headed to the front lines. I gazed at the golden dragon somersaulting in the sky, its spine faintly marked with a lotus imprint, when suddenly a long-sealed memory was unlocked. "It's actually him." Without a second thought, I instantly transformed into a wisp of blue smoke and swiftly followed. After finally catching up, I saw the figures of demonic beasts entangled with Jackson in combat. Those beasts were no ordinary foes, and though Jackson fought with all his might, he was outnumbered. Golden dragon scales fell one by one from the sky, stained with crimson blood, tightening my heart with worry. Without hesitation, I activated the power of the Succubus Pill within me. Soon, a purple glow enveloped my body. With a sharp gaze, the purple light surged toward the demon beasts. Miraculously, those demon beasts seemed as if drunk. Their attacks halted momentarily before returning to normal. But even that fleeting moment was enough for Jackson to turn the tide of battle. The demon beast was swept by the dragon's tail, instantly dissolving into a wisp of black smoke. Everything returned to calm as Jackson transformed into human form amidst the soldiers' cheers, walking straight toward me with inquisitive eyes. "Such a proper little fox, yet why do you practice such improper seduction arts?" His words stung me. My face fell as I glared at him with puffed cheeks. Magic arts know no hierarchy of nobility. Any art becomes proper when used for righteous purposes, and the Crown Prince had just been saved by my charm technique. Truly ungrateful. Jackson was amused by my puffed cheeks and chuckled as he apologized to me. After this battle, he grew closer to me. He often probed me about why I saved him, and once when I got annoyed by his persistence, I simply laid all my cards on the table. I looked at him earnestly. 500 years ago, did you visit the mortal world? Did you save a little fox from the jaws of a 9-tailed fox? He thought carefully, then his face lit up with sudden realization. This sovereign remembers now, but what this sovereign saved back then seems to have been a weasel spirit. He eyed me suspiciously up and down, and I stomped my feet in anger. Nonsense, it's a divine fox, a divine fox. With a swift turn, I revealed my true form. Circling around him, "Open your eyes wide and take a good look." He was torn between laughter and tears, bending down to cradle me in his arms, carefully examining my fox face with adoration in his eyes. Back then, just because I attained human form before Aurora, she grew jealous and sent an unfamiliar little fox to lure me into the human world to play. Little did I know I'd end up imprisoned by a 9-tailed fox. 9-tailed foxes are the most sinister branch of the fox clan. They practice cannibalism and particularly enjoy devouring young foxes like me. Just as I thought I'd become another victim of the 9-tailed fox, a golden-scaled snake swooped in, rescued me, and even forced that 9-tailed fox back to its original form. Its back bore the same lotus mark as Jackson's. Since then, I've never given up searching for that golden snake, especially after arriving at the Tingsha clan, where I scoured every snake den, big and small. Centuries passed with no news, and the elder Ting snakes mocked me, saying that across all realms, There had never been such a thing as a golden snake. Now it seems my eyes deceived me. He was clearly a golden dragon, but who could blame him for being blind, mistaking a divine fox like me for a weasel? I only mistook him for a snake, so it's not like I wronged him. These past days, I've been puzzled. In my previous life, I never heard of the Divine Clan encountering demonic beasts right after setting out. The confrontation with the Demon Clan has come so much earlier in this lifetime, leaving me with a lingering sense of unease. Before I could ponder further, the Demon Clan launched another massive attack, far more perilous than the last. Before leaving, Jackson repeatedly urged me to protect myself and stay in the tent to await news, yet not long after he departed, I heard soldiers outside wailing Jackson's name in utter despair. Then a soldier came crying to deliver the message. It's terrible. The demons have gone berserk with killing. His Highness the Crown Prince can't hold them off much longer. My mind went blank with a roar, and without thinking, I immediately flew to the battlefield. Though us white foxes may not possess high cultivation or offensive power, my charm magic could still be of some use, even if just to buy him a few moments of survival. But I clearly underestimated the demons. They wouldn't stumble over the same place twice. My charm magic failed, even when I channeled all my cultivation power. With dense purple cheese so thick it could drip water around me, those demonic beasts remained completely unaffected. Utterly frustrated, I could only fight desperately. My vision was obscured by the demonic miasma, making it impossible to see the battle situation. For a long time, I couldn't spot Jackson's figure. Suddenly, a tremendous explosion echoed across the sky, followed by golden light overflowing and overwhelming the dark energy, focusing my gaze. I saw Jackson actually detonate his golden core, perishing together with the demonic tribe. I watched helplessly as all the demonic beasts around me turned to dust, and Jackson, my savior, my husband, also lost all signs of life. Somehow, my heart ached so badly that tears streamed down uncontrollably. Only one thought filled my mind: he cannot die. So, with a swift motion of my blade, my face turned deathly pale from the excruciating pain. Yet I mustered all my strength to channel my cultivation technique, forming my severed tail into an inner core and infusing it into Jackson's body. Seeing the golden light around him, which had been dim, shine brightly again, my heart finally settled, and darkness swept over my vision as I fainted. I felt as if I had slept for a very long time, with someone gently calling my name, Odessa, filled with deep concern, always in my ears. When I opened my eyes again, I was momentarily dazed. Looking around, I found myself back in the Dragon Clan's mansion. I reached down to touch beneath me. It was bare and wrapped in bandages. This was indeed not a dream. I'd become a tailless, ugly fox. At this thought, I couldn't hold back anymore and burst into loud sobs. My crying attracted Jackson, who had actually been keeping watch in the room next to mine. He strode forward and, under the gaze of numerous palace maids, gathered me into his arms, carefully stroking my fur while whispering comforting words. Odessa, you're finally awake. It's okay now. It's okay. I looked up at him. Jackson, I'm just glad you're all right. I spoke through sobs with a pouting mouth, only to be called a silly goose by him. Jackson was hanging by a thread that day, and I gritted my teeth to sever my own foxtail to save him. I didn't think much at the time, acting impulsively just with the thought of repaying kindness. Now that I've calmed down, I realize how foolish I was. A life-saving favor doesn't necessarily require repaying with one's own life, although our foxtails can transform into anything in this world, not to mention the excruciating pain of severing it. There's a real risk of losing one's life. News of Jackson's great victory over the demon race has spread far and wide, along with the tale of how I sacrificed my tail to save him. These stories have been compiled into plays and are now sung on every street corner. Whispers about the Dragon Prince's devotion to his princess spread like wildfire once again. I've become the vixen most admired by young maidens, the one who miraculously made a stoic man like Jackson bloom with love. Those who once mocked me for being neglected after marriage have now turned their envy toward me, shedding barrels of tears over the profound love between Jackson and me. Naturally, Aurora heard about my exploits. Unable to contain herself, she rushed straight to the Dragon Clan to find me. When she arrived, Jackson was carefully peeling grapes for me on the couch, feeding them to my lips. Aurora instantly burned with jealousy, her eyes fixed fiercely on Jackson. You must know, in the previous life, Jackson never once showed her a kind expression, always keeping her at arm's length, even when she used seduction techniques hoping for a wild night with him. He saw through it effortlessly and sternly refused. Such an unattainable man was now attentively serving me hand and foot, which naturally made her feel resentful. I smiled and asked Jackson to leave first, so we sisters could talk properly. He nodded and even closed the door for us as he left. Aurora couldn't hold back any longer and sneered. Who would have thought Jackson emerged completely unscathed from the Demon Clan battle? Those beasts were truly useless. Her words made me realize in an instant. So, it was you who's been stirring up trouble. You're the one who tipped off the demon clan. That's why they launched their attack early. That's why my charm failed. You've gone mad to this extent, gambling with the peace of the divine race. I can't believe Aurora before me would do such things for personal gain. Though the Fox clan's charm magic can captivate hearts, taking the antidote beforehand makes it easy to resist. A secret known only to the White Fox royalty. She ignored my accusation. Why not? Still. Even if Jackson narrowly escaped death, seeing you turned into this hideous form brings me joy. Don't be fooled. Jackson obeys you now out of gratitude for saving his life, not genuine affection. With your ugly appearance, how could a noble dragon prince ever take a liking to you? She never missed an opportunity to belittle me, saying this while gently caressing her own belly. Unlike me, my husband treats me exceptionally well. Now that I'm pregnant, once I give birth, the position of Tingsha Queen will be mine. I burst out laughing. Treats you well. Planting parasitic insects in your body is what you call being treated well. If he truly treated you well, how could you have become so haggard so soon after marriage? Her expression changed. Originally, Aurora's beauty was among the finest in the clan, but now, though not drastically altered, she had visibly lost weight and looked utterly exhausted. I knew it must have been Beau's doing, in my past life. He treated me the same way, using the excuse of restoring my health to plant parasitic insects in my body, subjecting me to the agony of being gnawed by countless worms every night. Back then, I thought it was all for bearing superior offspring, so I endured it with clenched teeth. Only later did I realize everything was for his own dream of ascending as a dragon. In his eyes, both me and our dragon children were merely stepping stones on his path to immortality. All his apparent care and affection in public were just smokescreens. Once we were no longer useful, we'd be cast aside without hesitation. Aurora exclaimed in surprise. How could you know? Could it be? You've also been reborn. I looked at her with a half smile, making her uneasy. What else do you know? Tell me quickly, sister. Why be so nervous? With your peerless beauty and noble status, perhaps the Tingsha King truly loves you. Her expression softened slightly. Right. Maybe you suffered in the Tingsha tribe in your past life, but that doesn't mean Beau would treat me the same way in this lifetime. After all, I'm the noble White Fox princess by blood, naturally not something a lowly wild fox like you can compare to. The more she spoke, the more smug she became, as if already convinced she was Beau's exception. With one hand on her waist, she swayed away with fox-like steps. That night, Jackson slipped into my room, pinned me beneath him. His expression complicated. I'm not being good to you out of gratitude, little fox, do you understand? My mind went blank. What did he mean by this? My heart delights in you. What? But, didn't you cultivate the path of emotionlessness? Is my charm technique really this powerful? He lowered his head to silence my rambling lips, and I completely lost my senses. Whatever, he's so good looking anyway. It's not like I'm losing out. Early the next morning, I rubbed my sore waist and stretched with a big yawn. Seeing Jackson already fully dressed by the bed, I couldn't help but ask, Jackson, does dual cultivation in your emotionless path affect your cultivation base? He gave me a helpless glance and tossed out, you'll find out later. Only when night fell did I understand what he meant. Perhaps he had abstained for too long, after tasting the sweetness of dual cultivation. He dragged me into it night after night, never tiring of it, never getting enough. Facts proved that dual cultivation in the path of heartlessness did not hinder his cultivation at all. On the contrary, I faintly sensed he had grown even stronger than before. 3 months later, I looked at my slightly swollen belly and sighed in distress. In my previous life, my entire pregnancy had been extremely difficult. The parasites inside me became more active because of the fetus, tormenting me relentlessly, leaving me sleepless night after night. Beau thought I was being overly sensitive. Do you really think you're here to enjoy luxury? If you can't even handle this little hardship, what's the point of me keeping you around? Therefore, I had a natural aversion to pregnancy. Jackson noticed my mood and gently pulled me into his arms. What's wrong? Don't you like children? I shook my head, just a bit scared, not knowing what kind of cub I'll give birth to. Jackson chuckled, comforting me. Silly fox, as long as it's your cub, I'll love it. So even after cultivating the path of emotionlessness, one isn't truly without emotions after all. The Dragon Clan, upon learning of my pregnancy, specially held a palace banquet to celebrate. During the meal, Jackson thoughtfully took care of me, and in no time my plate was piled high with food. Aurora and Beau were also in attendance. At this time, Aurora was nearing her due date. Her belly so large it looked ready to burst at any moment. She was immensely proud of her pregnancy, boasting to everyone she met that the royal physician had taken her pulse and predicted she was carrying at least 5 pups. This would be considered a tremendous joyous occasion among the Tingsha clan, with neighboring guests showering her with praises for her good fortune. Some recalled that Aurora and I were sisters, seizing the opportunity to curry favor with me. How enviable the Fox King and Queen are. Both daughters are so blessed, especially the Crown Princess. Just look how deeply affectionate the Crown Prince is with her. Aurora's previously flower-like smiling face instantly darkened as she sneered sarcastically. Anyone with eyes can see His Highness merely feels gratitude toward her. After all, it's about repaying a life-saving favor, not love. Besides, this is just the beginning. In the honeymoon phase, which couple isn't affectionate? The guests nearby wore awkward smiles, and one who was usually close to me couldn't help but speak up in my defense. Whether it's gratitude or not doesn't matter. What's most rare about His Highness the Crown Prince is his devotion. Having only the Crown Princess by his side shows his deep affection, unlike a certain someone, who at his age behaves disgracefully with a harem of over 100 concubines, utterly shameless. Everyone around could tell she was mocking Beau. And Aurora immediately felt humiliated, rolling up her sleeves ready to argue with her. Beau stepped in to mediate. Cut it out, this is embarrassing. Aurora, publicly humiliated by Beau, suddenly turned pale and clutched her stomach, screaming. Someone with experience immediately realized, quick, she's going into labor. Everyone was waiting outside the delivery room to see what kind of offspring Aurora would give birth to, given how ostentatiously she had flaunted her belly earlier. Everyone felt this pregnancy was extraordinary. Her screams left me with lingering fear, reminding me of how I had endured 3 days and nights of similar pain to deliver my dragon babies in my previous life. She was indeed fortunate. After only a short while of crying out, the midwife's voice announcing the good news could be heard. Beau, who had been waiting outside with us, quickly stepped forward. What was born? Congratulations, Serpent King. The royal consort has given birth to 3 little serpent treasures. What joyous news! Upon hearing this, the crowd rushed to congratulate Beau. As serpent clans typically only bear 1 offspring per birth, yet Aurora had miraculously delivered 3 serpent babies at once. Though not as extraordinary as she had previously boasted, it was still an immensely joyous occasion. Beau's face darkened upon hearing the news. Without even glancing at the serpent babies in their swaddling clothes, he stormed off angrily, showing no regard for Aurora, who had labored tirelessly to bear his children and was now left alone in the delivery room. Others just found it strange why the Tingsha King looked so unhappy about having a child in his old age, but I knew perfectly well, what Beau had been longing for was a dragon heir, not a serpent baby. The goo worms he used actually had effects similar to the Divine Embryo Pill, except the power of goo worms was far more violent than medicinal potency. Those afflicted by the goo worms could only suffer torment night after night. However, I had originally thought that after taking the Divine Embryo Pill and with the enhancement of the goo worms, Aurora would surely give birth to a dragon heir like I did in my previous life. Yet, something must have gone wrong in the process. She only bore an ordinary serpent baby, and the quantity was far less than what I had produced. A few days later, Aurora, who should have been resting, came to me with her postpartum weakened body. After not seeing her for days, she seemed like a different person, her face sallow, her posture hunched, her eyes red and swollen as if from crying. As soon as she saw me, she rushed at me fiercely and shouted accusingly, "You knew all along, didn't you? You knew everything yet still watched me walk into the fire. Odessa, you're truly as venomous as a snake or scorpion." My poor serpent children, devoured by their own father, she could no longer hold on. Collapsing to the ground as she covered her face and wept, my heart shuddered. No matter what was born, Beau would choose to devour it. He had truly descended to such depraved madness. After sobbing hysterically, Aurora pointed at me and screamed, "It's all your fault. If not for you, how could I have married this ancient monster? It's all because of you. I'll kill you." Her hand was about to land on my stomach, but I dodged it effortlessly with a turn, causing her to lose balance and fall to the ground again. I crouched in front of her. "Aurora, it was all your own choice. In your past life, you married Jackson but tried to seduce him with charm, ending up being despised by him, unable to bear seeing me live better than you. You even colluded with the Tengu, devoured my inner core, and took my life. In this lifetime, marrying Beau was your own choice. You were the one who saw how well he'd treat you. Now that you've suffered and seen his true colors, what right do you have to blame me?" Aurora bit her lip hard. "Then why couldn't you have warned me? You just had to watch me make a fool of myself, didn't you? Besides, didn't you also use charm magic to make Jackson devoted to you? What gives you the right to criticize me?" I sighed helplessly. To make me suffer, she even allied with the demon clan to kill Jackson. In her heart, I had long become her greatest enemy, even if I had warned her. She wouldn't have believed me. "No one wants to see you make a fool of yourself. You're the one embarrassing yourself. Jackson and I are truly compatible. It's not seduction magic. You're obsessed with getting something for nothing. But where in this world can you find love without effort? Between men and women, there's no need for seduction magic. Only sincerity matters." With a heart-wrenching scream, she stormed out the door. After Aurora left, I peacefully awaited the day of my delivery. Jackson also acted out of character, withdrawing from worldly affairs and staying by my side all day. I even saw him personally washing our cub's clothes once. He was earnestly learning to be a father. In this lifetime, my cub finally has a good father. Before long, my due date arrived as expected. When the first pains began, I was reminded of the excruciating childbirth experience from my previous life. Foxfolk are petite and naturally fertile, but having witnessed many vixens give birth, I knew most endured great suffering. Soon the pain became unbearable, and I cried out. Jackson defied all objections to stay in the delivery room, vowing I wouldn't face this vulnerable moment alone. Seeing my unbearable suffering, he channeled an endless stream of true dragon energy into my body, and I immediately felt much more at ease. I suddenly felt a lightness in my abdomen, and in an instant, my entire body radiated a brilliant golden light so intense that I couldn't open my eyes. The crowd outside my delivery room murmured, with such celestial phenomena, the crown princess's child is surely extraordinary. Aurora even came to join the commotion, her familiar mocking voice reaching my ears. She's just a lowly wild fox herself. How could she possibly give birth to any cub of superior quality? Amidst the clamor of discussions, the midwife's voice boomed thunderously. It's born. The crown princess has given birth to 9 golden dragons. The crowd was ecstatic, for even Jackson, with his noble lineage, was merely an ordinary black dragon at birth, only becoming golden through later cultivation of metal element spells. Yet my children were born as golden dragons, and 9 of them at once. This was truly a marvel unseen for tens of thousands of years. Aurora immediately understood the significance of my 9 dragon treasures in the eyes of the dragon clan, her face turning pale as she fled in panic. She kept muttering to herself, how is this possible? Her birth mother was clearly a wild fox from the countryside. How could she, with impure bloodline, give birth to a golden dragon? There must be some mistake. The dragon clan was immersed in immense joy. So naturally no one paid attention to her whereabouts at that moment. The Dragon Emperor drafted an edict, passing the throne of the Dragon Clan to Jackson, while also appointing the eldest of my dragon children as the crown prince of the Dragon Clan, and so, I naturally became the queen of the Dragon Clan. At Jackson's coronation ceremony, my dragon children and I were also officially enfeoffed. Suddenly, from somewhere in the crowd, a black figure flew out, clad in a long black robe that concealed him entirely. I recognized it at first glance. It was the Tingsha King Bo. He charged straight toward me and the dragon treasure, and I immediately realized his target was the dragon treasure. It really is a golden dragon. Once I successfully refine them, I'll surely become a dragon. I knew Bo's cultivation level was far beyond what a little fox like me could withstand. At this moment, Jackson was still 100 steps away, and the only thing I could rely on was my charm technique. I weave a purple barrier with enchantment, wrapping Bo within it, desperately trying to capture his soul. Bo's movements halted as Jackson arrived just in time to shield me and the dragon cub behind him, his tail flick sending Bo sprawling to the ground. Before Jackson, Bo was utterly defenseless. A gust of wind blew, revealing Bo's face to the crowd. Though never handsome, he at least used to have regular features. No, with his eyes askew and mouth twisted. His facial features were all out of place, looking extremely bizarre, and a pair of strange dragon-like horns had inexplicably grown on his head. Just as the crowd was engaged in heated discussion, Aurora flew over and landed in front of Bo. Without a word, she conjured a sharp sword in her hand and thrust it at Bo. However, her swordsmanship was mediocre, and even her full-force strike only managed to pierce Bo's shoulder. Bo cursed loudly, "You vile woman. How dare you attempt to murder your own husband?" Aurora's eyes burned with hatred. "You deranged old monster. You waste your days chasing the delusion of ascending as a dragon, even devouring your own children. Now you've become this abomination, neither human nor ghost, yet still dare demand I bear more children for you. You're living in a fool's paradise." Aurora's words tore away Bo's last shred of dignity. Everyone had long suspected he was involved in unspeakable deeds behind closed doors. I've long heard of forbidden cultivation techniques, refining one's own offspring into elixirs and consuming them for a chance to ascend. No wonder he's so old without any surviving descendants. Turns out he ate them all himself. How utterly bizarre. Bo, flushed with shame and rage, pointed at Aurora. "If you hadn't been so useless, only producing those 3 worthless failures, would I have ended up like this? My greatest regret is marrying a useless fox spirit like you. I can't understand. Clearly sisters, yet she could birth 9 golden dragons while you couldn't even produce one." It turns out that his transformation was caused by swallowing the snake treasure, likely due to a cultivation deviation. Aurora couldn't contain her anger and engaged in a fierce fight with him. By the time they were pulled apart, Aurora was left with only a breath of life. Bo was strangled to death by Aurora. Later, I heard that Aurora was sent back to the Fox clan. Hanging by a thread, the Fox King and Queen sought renowned physicians far and wide to treat her. In the end, Aurora survived, but the Fox King unexpectedly discovered that Aurora wasn't actually his biological child. When he used his primordial spirit to probe Aurora's consciousness to heal her, he found that their primordial spirits were actually two different colors. The Fox King's was pure white, while Aurora's white carried a hint of cyan, furious at having been deceived for 1,000 years. The Fox King confronted his wife, who finally admitted that she was already pregnant by another fox when she married him. When I learned about this, I laughed until I cried. It's ironic how Aurora kept calling me a wild fox, when she herself was the illegitimate one. The Fox King couldn't swallow this humiliation, so he banished the Fox Queen and Aurora from the Fox clan, then came to me to repent. Odessa, all these years your father has neglected you. Being deceived by that vile woman for so long, later when I inquired about my origins, he finally told me that my birth mother wasn't some wild fox, but rather a female disciple under the goddess Nuwa. This also explains why in my previous life I could give birth to a dragon child, while Aurora could only bear snake offspring. It's pitiful that I was called a wild fox by her for so many years in vain, while my father knew everything yet never spoke a word in my defense. Belated paternal love is cheaper than grass, whoever wants it can have it. Later, I encountered Aurora and her child again during my travels in the mortal world, while Jackson and I were strolling through a temple fair. They were at a street vendor's stall selling beasts, both transformed into their original forms and crammed into a single cage, waiting to be chosen. It must have been the Fox King who drove them away, reverting them to their original forms. Now they are no different from ordinary beasts in the human world. After just a quick glance, I pulled Jackson away. Their fate was entirely of their own making. Jackson held my hand with one of his, while the other mysteriously produced a candied hawthorn stick and brought it to my lips. I took a bite, sour, sweet, and with a hint of bitterness. Much like my life, little fox, your husband will stay with you forever. It's a promise. The end. Story 2. The green tea girl had bound the end time's favorite pet system. Everyone was fawning over her like crazy, including my brother. He died in the mouth of a zombie just to get the skincare products she wanted. Later, when the green tea girl was trapped among the zombies, she begged me to save her. Crying, I shot her directly and said, "Die, bitch." The last image in my mind before I died was Giselle hiding in my ex-boyfriend's arms. Sobbing, how dare she cry? It was clearly her who hid behind me and used me as bait for the zombies to escape this disaster. My friends who fought side by side with me, the only family member I had in the world, all died because of her. Why was she still alive? Why? Ding, a suitable host has been detected. This voice suddenly appeared in my mind. At first, it was just an unusually hot summer. Just the discharge of nuclear, contaminated water. Just humans accidentally getting bitten by unknown objects in the water, until the real end times arrived. Hello, Freya. I am the end times wish-granting system. Would you like to bind with me, with us? The possibility of humans surviving this disaster will increase significantly. After binding with the system, you can be resurrected. You can earn points by killing zombies, and with enough points, you can make wishes to me, of course, within my ability range, except for the host. I cannot resurrect other people. Also, I don't have antibodies against the zombie virus. I want to come back to life. I want to seek justice for my friends, my family, and myself. Without hesitation, I said, I do. You've killed a lot of zombies before, so you have plenty of points. What do you want? I thought for a while and said, superb combat power, endless stamina, and luck unique to the end times. This luck would allow me to escape death time and time again. I had to live until the day when humanity truly triumphed. Smart choice. Oh, right. I also need some sharp and useful weapons. Okay, the exchange is successful. Enjoy your use. When I returned to the base, Giselle was wearing a white dress, with a delicate makeup, leisurely drinking afternoon tea. Seeing me, she looked shocked. Freya, you're not dead, I sneered. What? Are you disappointed that I'm still alive? At that time, the situation was urgent. A gap had appeared in the base, and an endless stream of zombies poured in. Giselle and I got on a school bus, but there were too many zombies, and the door couldn't be closed. Then, Giselle said behind me, Freya, do you know how your brother died? I just told him that my skin was really dry recently, and he volunteered for the mission. Do you know what others told me? They said that even if the team leader threatened him with his life, your brother didn't hesitate at all. He left the team and rushed into the mall, just to get me a set of skincare products. What a pity. At that moment, I felt as if I had been struck by lightning. While I was shocked and angry, she took the opportunity to push me out to feed the zombies and then left gracefully. Not only that, when they left, they also crashed into the base, creating a large gap. Countless zombies poured in, and the base suffered heavy losses. When the base was rebuilt, Giselle came back crying. I was just too scared. so I asked someone to drive the car away. I didn't mean to hurt anyone, everyone forgave her. I asked the system, does Giselle also have a system? This is confidential, the host has no right to know, so she did have one. I'll exchange all my points, I want to know what system she's bound to. After hesitating for a while, the system said, the exchange is successful, Giselle is bound to the end times favorite pet system. Even if she does nothing, everyone will have a natural fondness for her, also. Her points can be used to mark humans. The marked people are willing to do anything for her, including sacrificing their lives. After learning the truth, I couldn't help but tremble. Under the influence of the favorite pet system, no one noticed anything was wrong. Even I had always thought that Giselle was so charming that they were willing to be such stupid love-struck fools, but they were never willing. It was Giselle and the system playing tricks. Damien was dissatisfied. Freya. What do you mean? How can you talk to Giselle like that? Others echoed, yeah, your death has nothing to do with Giselle, she showed concern for you, so why are you being so mean to her? As expected, people who are ugly also have a dirty mind, unlike Giselle, who is the favorite pet. I was now hated by everyone. Before the end times, I was an extremely favored girl, but after the end times came, I got separated from my teammates during a mission and was captured to protect myself. I disfigured my face. When I was about to be harmed, my brother broke into the enemy's base alone and rescued me, but such a good brother, a brother who was willing to sacrifice his life for me, was dead. The cause of his death was ridiculous. Just for a set of skincare products. Giselle smiled and took my arm. Oh, Freya must have some misunderstandings about me. Don't blame her, she just got back and needs a good rest. Ugly people make more trouble, Damien mumbled. My Giselle is the kindest. I gave him a thumbs up. No wonder you are who you are, you like mistresses so much, just like your father. Damien was my ex-boyfriend, and we were high school classmates. It was rumored that he was the child of a mistress. He was good-looking but had a withdrawn and eccentric personality, and was ostracized by his classmates. At that time, I was the class monitor, and I was the only one who was willing to talk to him. After the college entrance examination, he confessed his love to me, saying that I had warmed his heart. I was superficial and overly kind-hearted back then. I thought that he had nothing else but me. I accepted his confession. We were the envy of everyone in the university, even during the end times. He still protected me everywhere, but after my brother rescued me, I learned that he was already with Giselle. When I asked him for an explanation, he said in front of everyone, "Do you really think I like you? Look at yourself now. How dare you come to me? Please cover your face, ugly freak." His disgust for me was not only because of the favorite pet system, although my brother was also marked, he was still very good to me. Once, I had a disagreement with Giselle and was attacked by everyone. Only my brother protected me behind him and shouted frantically over and over again, "Don't push me, don't push me." At that time, I only hated him for being confused and love-struck. It was only now that I knew what he had gone through. How much effort did he have to put in to resist the powerful system? Even my system couldn't help but sigh. If your brother hadn't been marked, you two siblings would definitely have survived until the end, but there were no what-ifs. Damien was so angry that his eyes widened. Freya, don't talk nonsense. Do you think I won't hit a woman? I wasn't afraid at all and pointed to my temple. Shoot here. These days, I didn't rush back to the base but had been hunting zombies outside. With the help of the system, my comprehensive abilities had improved rapidly. No one in the base could match me. Damien was all bark and no bite. He got cowardly in such situations. For the sake of our past relationship, I won't fight with you, I sneered. I have no feelings for you. I just pity you. TSK, a thing with a father but no upbringing. Damien was shaking with anger. Shut the hell up. He was on the verge of pulling out a gun and pointing it at me. Unfortunately, everyone could only get a gun when going on a mission. Giselle was indignant. Freya, you're being too mean now. How can you say such things to Damien? He can't choose his background. I felt like vomiting when I saw her acting, she shouted. Freya, apologize to Damien now. Apologize to your mother. I never usually cursed, unless I couldn't hold it in. Giselle immediately started crying. Everyone surrounded her to comfort her. Freya, why are you targeting Giselle as soon as you get back? She didn't do anything. Giselle, don't cry. Freya is just jealous of you. Just ignore her. I asked the system, what would happen if I stabbed her directly? You can't do that. All systems have measures to protect the host. Once it senses murderous intent, it will remind the host. Before you can swing your knife, it will summon the marked people. Before you can kill Giselle, you must deal with her marked people. There were too many marked people. I didn't want to hurt those innocent people. Just like my brother, they couldn't help themselves. Of course, poisoning is also completely impossible. The next day, I was informed that I had to go on a mission. Normally, the mission list for a week was already set in advance. I just arrived yesterday. And I shouldn't have been on the list this week. Giselle couldn't hide her complacency. Freya, you must come back safely. Oh, so she was behind this. She was trying to kill me with a borrowed knife, wanting me to die among the zombies. Too bad. Things were different now. I wasn't so easy to kill. This mission was to go to an abandoned hospital to find the required medicine. In the car, Hugo said, Freya, your father used to be the hospital director, right? He couldn't stand a bite and died early. After your brother died, you're all alone, right? The famous rich and beautiful girl from Qingqing University is now dark, miserable, and ugly, so pitiful. He looked gloating. He was best at poking at people's scars and hitting people where it hurt. Hugo was Giselle's most devoted admirer. He had liked her since his freshman year. He was the only one who fell in love with her without being influenced by the system, therefore. Although Giselle looked down on him, she still treated him a little differently. When my brother was alive, he often taunted my brother, scolding him for being snobbish, for rejecting Giselle's confession before, and now, he couldn't even lick her boots. He was also the one who drove the school bus away. I put my long knife on his neck. Shut up if you don't want to die. With everyone in the car, he felt emboldened. Hey, Freya, why are you getting so angry? It was just a joke, I said coldly. Oh, your mother is dead. Your father is a scumbag. You're a pathetic admirer. Not only are you ugly, but you're also poor and have no ambition. You're willing to die for a woman. I looked at the others. He threatened to jump off a building after being rejected by Giselle in his freshman year. You all remember that, right? Oh, right. You're not from our school, so you don't know about this. It doesn't matter. Now you know. Hugo, if I were your mother, I couldn't even stay in my grave. I'd be so angry that I'd come back to life. It would have been better if she gave birth to a piece of char siu instead of you. Hugo got angry and pointed a gun at me. Freya, do you believe I'll cut your mouth off? I shrugged. What are you doing? I'm not really your mother. It was just a joke. Why are you getting so angry? He was the one who provoked me first, and everyone saw it. The team leader stepped up to mediate. We're all teammates. Stop fighting. I didn't plan to have a minor squabble with him. I wanted him dead. Soon, we arrived at the hospital entrance. Before getting off the car, Hugo had a strange smile on his face. Freya, there are a lot of zombies in there. Your ability is the weakest among us. Maybe if you beg me later, I'll save you despite our previous feud. I sneered. Take care of yourself, ugly thing. The team leader said. Freya, stay with me. My brother was on good terms with him when he was alive. He promised my brother that he would take care of me. We entered the hospital. There weren't many zombies on the first floor, and we got in smoothly. We quickly got the medicine. Just as we were about to leave, the system suddenly said, Warning, detecting murderous intent. Warning, detecting murderous intent. I looked back and saw Hugo opening a door, and behind the door, there were all zombies. The team leader panicked. Close the door. Hugo ignored him and ran in the opposite direction with the medicine on his back. He did it on purpose. He wanted to kill me and didn't care about the lives of everyone in the team. Hearing the commotion, the zombies swarmed towards us, waving their claws. The team leader shouted, Run. There were too many of them. We couldn't fight them head on. We could only fight while retreating. The team was quickly scattered by the crowd. The team leader had been protecting me. But there were times when he couldn't keep an eye on everything. A small zombie rushed towards me from behind at a very fast speed. The team leader was in a difficult situation himself and only managed to say, Be careful. Before the words were out, I raised my leg high behind me, the blade on the back of my shoe neatly inserted into the little zombie's head, and it fell to the ground. No wonder the weapons from the system were so good. They were extremely useful. The team leader stared at me in surprise. In that moment of distraction, two zombies pounced on him from behind. I shouted, Duck. I held his shoulder with my left hand and pushed him down. With my right hand, I swung my long knife and easily chopped off the heads of the two zombies. The team leader was completely stunned. Freya, you. I grabbed his arm. What are you still standing there for? Run. We fought our way out and finally reached the car. He told me to go first. I smiled. Do you think I still need your protection now? Hearing this, he said seriously, No matter what, I promised Finian that I would take care of you. No need. You wait here. I'll be back soon, with the others. If you see Hugo, tie him up. He tried to harm us on purpose. The team leader wanted to say something else. I took off my backpack and stuffed it into his hands. Trust me. He hesitated for a moment, then finally said, Okay. I re-entered the hospital to look for the others. Coincidentally, I saw Hugo in a tree. The zombies were roaring under the tree, surrounding him. He had nowhere to escape. Freya, save me. I curled my lips. Beg me. Maybe I'll save you despite our previous feud. Seeing that I didn't move, he actually resorted to dirty tricks. He took things out of his backpack and threw them at me one by one. Hearing the commotion, the zombies turned around and attacked me. Haha, if I can't live, neither can you. Once you die, Giselle won't have to endure your meanness anymore. I easily killed the zombies blocking my way, took out a gun from the system's virtual backpack, and aimed it at his thigh. Pathetic admirers will die. Hugo finally panicked. Freya, I'm your teammate. You can't kill me. If you kill me, you won't be able to escape either. Idiot. One shot. He was in so much pain. But he didn't dare to make a sound. 2 shots, his face was distorted, and he let out a scream. 3 shots, he couldn't hold on any longer and fell out of the tree. The zombies swarmed up and scrambled to bite him. That disgusting-looking face was finally torn to pieces. I rode a motorcycle and continued to search for the others. Before long, I found them fighting bravely. I held the handlebar with one hand and swung my long knife with the other, as the motorcycle passed by. The long knife sliced off the heads of countless zombies. My teammates were so shocked that their jaws dropped. Damn, Freya is so cool. Is that Freya? That's Freya. Thankfully, except for Hugo, no one else was injured or killed. The team leader sighed. Freya, you're really different from before. What exactly happened to you during this time? I just smiled and didn't answer. As soon as we got back to the base, my teammates started talking excitedly. Not to brag, Freya is amazing. We wouldn't have made it back without her. The way she wielded that knife, swoosh, 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 she took down a whole row of zombies. Where's Hugo? He's dead. Hugo is a disaster. He almost got us all killed. Hearing this, Giselle looked unpleasant but said nothing. She felt guilty. Hugo must have been acting on her orders. After that, Giselle stuck even closer to her marked people. 8. Some time passed. Host, you have enough points now. You can exchange for the favor of everyone, of course. I'm not the favorite pet system, so I can't make admirers sacrifice their lives for you. The wish-granting system also has a limitation. The abilities it provides can only be used by the host. I can't help anyone. I can't make Giselle's system stop working, but I don't need the ability to be liked by others. I let my strength do the talking. What about your face? Do you want to get it treated? A pretty face isn't a good thing in the apocalypse. The system agreed deeply. That's true, Freya. I'm so lucky. How did I find such an amazing host like you? You're both crazy and ambitious. We're definitely going to survive until the end. To accumulate points, I've volunteered for missions these days. I've killed more zombies than I did in the whole of last year. Of course, I've also saved a lot of people. Everyone says, as long as Freya is around, there's nothing to be afraid of when going on a mission, with Freya leading the way. I'm safe. In the apocalypse, strength is supreme, now. I have a lot of say. At a meeting, I said bluntly that Giselle must go on missions. She has never left the base. Every time, her marked people go out in her place. This way, I don't have a chance to get rid of her. Damien was the first to stand up for her. Freya, aren't you being mean? You're deliberately targeting Giselle. What does it matter to you whether she goes on a mission or not? I stared at him coldly. I'm doing this for her own good, to train her abilities, otherwise. Who will protect her when you're not around? Damien, your mouth is dirty. You'd better shut up. If everyone is like her, does that mean all we need is a loyal admirer? Everyone can neglect their survival skills as long as there are people to protect them. Then when the base gets into trouble next time, it might as well just be destroyed. Everyone agreed with me. Yeah, Freya is right. We live in the apocalypse, and we should have a sense of crisis. Even kids are learning how to kill zombies. Why should Giselle just slack off? I don't want to be a useless person, just waiting to be saved while doing nothing. Damien got anxious. I won't allow you to talk about her like that. Giselle isn't useless. She provides me with emotional support. It's incredible that he could say such absurd things. I almost burst out laughing. Oh, emotional support, huh? Why don't you ask her to do a sexy dance in front of everyone every day and provide emotional support for all of us? She should provide the same support to us as she does to you. It can't just work for you alone. Giselle's face turned ugly. Freya, we're both women. Do you have to be so harsh? I snorted. Don't bring up gender, and don't lump me together with you. I'm not a clingy person who only knows how to cry and rely on men. I stood there straight, shouldering my long knife. Does anyone else have any objections? If not, let's start the vote. If you have objections, prove it with your strength. There was complete silence. Damien said resentfully, fine, since we're not welcome here, we'll leave. He grabbed Giselle's hand and stood up to leave. I crossed my arms and smiled. Sure, go ahead. If he were really as confident as he claimed, they wouldn't have slunk back to the base after it was rebuilt. There's water and electricity here, compared to the outside. It's like a paradise. Sure enough, after secretly glaring at me, Giselle said pitifully, I have feelings for everyone here. I don't want to leave, Damien. If you want to go, go by yourself. I'm staying. Damien felt embarrassed and made an excuse for himself. I'll go wherever Giselle goes. After the vote, I achieved my goal. Under the influence of the system, everyone did have a good impression of her, but they were even more reluctant to offend me. After all, in the face of life and death, this good impression means nothing. But it turned out that I thought too simply when she goes on missions. She always calls several of her marked people, all of whom are brave and skilled fighters. I simply can't break through her protective circle. I need help, and soon, an opportunity came. 9. During a mission, I met an injured man in an abandoned warehouse. He had a gunshot wound and seemed to have fainted from excessive blood loss. Just as I was hesitating whether to save him or not, the system exclaimed, "This man has extremely strong mental power." I prodded his body with the scabbard of my knife. So what? It's very useful. For example, ordinary people can't resist Giselle's marking at all, but he can. Although he can't completely resist, he won't sacrifice his life for her. Anyway, he can resist the influence of any system to a certain extent. The man was very good-looking. Giselle is superficial and only likes good-looking people. Her marked people are either good-looking or extremely powerful. Moreover, with broad shoulders, a narrow waist, and a strong, featured face. He's exactly Giselle's type. He dared to venture into the eastern area alone, so he must have good combat skills. I can make use of him. I searched him for a long time and found a map. There were several routes drawn on the map, all leading to the same place, the shelter in the northwest. It's a vast and sparsely populated area, the last pure land on the entire continent. I stuffed the map into my pocket, checked his body, and then carried him away. Coincidentally, I had just unlocked the skill of a surgeon some time ago. I had only practiced on fresh zombies and had never treated a living person before. There were no suitable medical instruments outside. I didn't have enough points to exchange for them. I had to go back to the base. Fortunately, it wasn't far, and there was still enough time. When they saw me coming back, everyone cheered, until they saw the man in my arms. Freya, you can't just pick up random men on the street. The system had been helping me monitor the man's vital signs. He didn't have much time left. I didn't waste time talking to them. Move aside. We can talk later. Giselle pushed through the crowd. Freya. What are you doing? Dr. Hunter is over there. You're going the wrong way. The last time the base fell, the only surgeon in the base was bitten by a zombie. Now, there's only an intern dentist, Dr. Hunter, who can occasionally help bandage wounds, but it's far from enough. I don't plan to go to Dr. Hunter. I'll do it myself. Everyone was shocked. What? After seeing the man's face clearly, Giselle's eyes lit up immediately. I knew it. She spread her arms and blocked my way. Freya. Are you crazy? You don't know anything. Let Dr. Hunter do it. Do you want to kill him? Someone echoed. Yeah, Freya, this is a life. We should be more careful. Damien angrily rebuked. Freya, you're insane. Just because everyone calls you Freya, you think you're so great. This is a life. Don't mess around, I said coldly. I brought him back, and I'm responsible for his life. Do you have any objections? Or can any of you perform this surgery? Dr. Hunter finally arrived. Raised his hands innocently, and said, I really can't. I stared at Giselle. Did you hear that? Get out of the way. With that, I strode away. Giselle shouted loudly behind me, Freya, if you kill him, you have to leave here. I ignored her and said, Dr. Hunter, come and help me. 10. More than an hour later, I took out the bullet and bandaged the man's wound. Dr. Hunter let out a long sigh of relief, wiped the sweat from his forehead, and looked much more nervous than me. Freya. You really know how to perform surgery, I thought. I just smiled and didn't say anything. When I walked out of the operating room, I found a large crowd waiting outside. Giselle looked triumphant. Freya, you've killed someone. You have to pay with your life. I rubbed my sore neck. Who said he's dead? Did you see it? Otherwise, do you really think you're a doctor? Freya, we've been teammates, and we don't have the heart to force you to die. Just leave on your own. She acted as if she was in charge. What? After I leave, can you replace me and go on missions every day? Hearing this, everyone got restless. Is Giselle okay? Let's have a meeting and vote on whether Freya should leave or not. Who do you think you are to make the decision? I've long noticed that Giselle is targeting Freya. I didn't find Giselle annoying before, but now the more I look at her, the more disgusting she seems. It's fine that Giselle takes a bunch of men with her every time she goes out. They're willing to be her admirers and protect her, but we're not as charming as her. Without Freya, I would have died 3 times already. Anyway, if Freya leaves, I'm leaving too. Me too. Giselle has messed up the base. I don't want to stay here anymore. As everyone got more and more excited, Giselle's face got uglier and uglier. Dr. Hunter tried to speak several times but was interrupted. I said calmly, Why don't you take a look at the patient first? Reminded by me, they finally got to the point. Suddenly, someone exclaimed, "Damn, he's really still alive, he's breathing, and his face looks much better." Wait, Freya, you really know what you're doing. Freya, how many more surprises do you have that we don't know about? Dr. Hunter finally got a chance to speak fully. Freya's operations were all professional. She didn't seem to be messing around. I shrugged. Did you forget who my father is? Oh right, the director of Shia Hospital, a famous master surgeon. So that's it. Freya, you're amazing. Giselle, what else do you have to say? You have to admit defeat and apologize to Freya. Damien and some others stood in front of Giselle to protect her. She looked innocent and on the verge of tears. I just wanted to seek justice for the patient. I didn't mean to target her. If anyone is targeting someone, it's her who's targeting me. Damien held a baseball bat, ready to fight at any moment. Yeah, Giselle is just too kind-hearted. How dare you say that about her? The other marked people also said. Giselle did nothing wrong. Why should she apologize? Someone stood up for me. How dare a useless person who does nothing act so arrogantly? Apologize. She must apologize. Yeah, why should Freya be bullied like this? Apologize. Everyone was talking at once. With the help of the system, Giselle couldn't really be hurt. Continuing to argue would only cause more trouble, I said. The patient needs to rest. Everyone, go back to your own business. After the crowd dispersed, Giselle stared at me fiercely. Freya, just you wait. Your days of arrogance won't last long. I ignored her as if I didn't hear her and walked away. 11. The man woke up quickly. I got straight to the point. I'm the one who saved your life. I carried you back here, and now you're safe. I also performed your surgery. His handsome brows furrowed slightly. It seemed the anesthesia had worn off. Let me introduce myself. I'm Freya. His voice was deep, hoarse, and pleasant. Garrett, let's make a deal. I know you're going to the shelter in the northwest. I can go with you. My combat power is pretty good, but in return, you have to do me a small favor. The system told me that his combat power was also outstanding, and he would be a good partner. Garrett didn't hesitate at all. You saved my life. So I should help you. I was satisfied with his attitude. Next, you'll fall hopelessly in love with a woman. I want you to play hard to get with her and act as coldly as possible. Only in this way will Giselle remain interested in him. You have to promise that no matter what, repaying your debt of gratitude comes first. You can follow her orders, but never forget who actually saved you. Garrett looked a bit confused but still said seriously, "Okay, I promise." I curled my lips. He seemed like a tough guy, but he was actually quite naive. He agreed without asking anything, but it doesn't matter. Soon, he'll understand what I'm talking about. I heard that Giselle is going on a mission tomorrow, probably to kill zombies and get points. She can't wait to mark Garrett and make him fall in love with her. Actually, I also have some doubts. Can you really do it? Can you really stay sober? After all, I've seen so many people go crazy after falling in love with Giselle. Even my beloved brother died because of her. Garrett asked me, "When you found me, did you see a child? He's about a head taller than you, carrying a denim backpack, wearing a white shirt and black pants, and he looks a bit like me." I told him the truth. "No, who is he?" His expression turned gloomy. "My younger brother." I thought for a moment and asked, "Where were you before you fainted?" "In the warehouse." He looked preoccupied. "No, we were attacked in the square. Some people tried to steal our supplies. The end times are like this. The human heart is often more terrifying than zombies." I was used to it and said, "Then he must have settled you in the safe warehouse first and then went out to find medicine or something. He was trying to save you." I asked him for a photo of his younger brother. I asked the system, "Can I exchange points for the whereabouts of his younger brother?" "Yes, you can. Grayson is safe now. When he returned to the warehouse and didn't see you, he thought you were dead, so he joined another team." Garrett looked surprised. "You, if I said I could tell the future, would you believe me?" He stared straight into my eyes seriously. "I believe you. So gullible. I'll keep an eye out for him when I'm out. I can help you find him, but only if you help me first. It won't take much of your time. You can probably finish it once you recover from your injuries." 12. Giselle would wander around here from time to time, unlike before in college when she desperately fawned over my brother. Now she was arrogant. At most, she would verbally flirt with Garrett. Anyway, with the blessing of the system, as long as she wanted, every man would fall in love with her. Garrett listened to me and really gave Giselle the cold shoulder. Giselle felt a frustration she had never experienced before. "Man, you've piqued my interest." I cringed when I heard this. "So cheesy." Garrett frowned and remained silent. It was not until I entered the room that he relaxed his brows and smiled. "Dr. Freya, you're here." "Yeah, how are you feeling?" He cooperatively lifted his shirt. "Not bad, other than the pain. I don't feel much." Giselle widened her eyes, stood up, and pulled his shirt down. "Garrett, have you no sense of propriety?" I found it funny. It was as if Garrett was already her possession, so confident. Giselle, are you crazy? Why don't you change his dressing? Garrett also looked displeased. Miss Giselle, would you please leave? Giselle gave me a fierce glare and turned to leave. While changing the dressing, Garrett said to me, I feel strange. I have no reason to fall in love with her, but when I see her, my heart starts pounding wildly. It's a really strange feeling. I knew it was Giselle's favorite pet system at work, so this was how my brother felt before. Seeing me staring at his chest in a daze, Garrett asked, do you want to listen? It's really beating fast. I raised an eyebrow. I didn't bring his stethoscope. Only then did he realize what he had said and hurriedly put on his clothes in a fluster. I didn't mean to offend you. I thought you were also curious. The tips of his ears turned bright red. I pursed my lips and packed my things. Just as I was about to leave the ward, Garrett asked me, do you hate Damien? I saw you roll your eyes at him just now. Yeah, he's a disgusting person. Then I'll annoy him more for you. As soon as I went out, Giselle was waiting in the corridor. Freya, I'm telling you, with that ugly face of yours, you still think you can seduce Garrett. I advise you not to be delusional. Sooner or later, he'll be mine. Giselle's current appearance could be summed up in 4 words. A small person drunk with success. She used to be my roommate. Before binding the system, she was so ordinary that she blended into the crowd. Another roommate once told me that Giselle would secretly use my skincare products and wear my dresses when I left the dormitory. She had said more than once, Freya, it's just your good luck. If I had your background, I'd definitely be better than you. Jealousy and stupidity were fully revealed in her. Giselle looked confident. I'm telling you. Garrett will fall in love with me like your brother did, and he'll be willing to do anything for me. Just you wait. I clenched my fists. She shouldn't have mentioned my brother. Just as I was about to attack, I was blocked by her marked people. Damien couldn't wait to show his loyalty. If you want to touch Giselle, you have to step over our dead bodies first, idiot. I punched him directly. Damien howled in pain and covered his eyes. Freya, how dare you hit me? How could you? I drew out my long knife. Scram, 13, under my care. Garrett was gradually getting better. The team leader warned me, Freya, don't get too close to Garrett. After all, he's an outsider, and he's not yet worthy of our trust. I nodded in agreement. He hesitated several times and finally seemed to make up his mind and said, Giselle has been chatting with him quite a lot recently. I think Garrett likes her. The team leader put it mildly, but I understood what he meant. He thought I liked Garrett. But he was afraid I wouldn't be able to compete with Giselle and would be sad. The way he was worried but dared not say it directly really reminded me of my brother. But he wasn't my brother. It's okay. I know where to draw the line. But soon, I noticed something was wrong. I ran into Giselle more and more frequently, several times. I found them chatting happily in the ward. I became increasingly uneasy, later. Garrett even said to me, I think I'm almost fully recovered, Dr. Freya. I can leave here now, I said coldly. Then it seems you don't need your dressing changed anymore. Garrett frowned quickly but said nothing. I turned to leave. As soon as I opened the door, I saw Giselle with a triumphant smile. She said softly, I told you, Freya, with that ugly face of yours, how could Garrett like you? He just needed you to treat his illness. With that, she walked into the ward and deliberately said in front of me, Garrett, I've prepared a new room for you. Right next to mine. Garrett smiled faintly. Okay, thank you, Giselle. At that moment, my unease reached its peak. I wanted to slap him and ask if he still remembered what he had promised me, but I knew he couldn't help it. A deep sense of powerlessness welled up in my heart. Not far from the ward, someone called out to me, Freya, Damien and Garrett are fighting. Go and take a look. When I arrived, the ward was in chaos. The 2 men were fighting bare-handed, both red-faced. But it was obvious to everyone that Damien was at a disadvantage. His face was covered with bruises from the beating. Even more incredibly, in full view of everyone, Garrett actually stuffed Damien's head into the toilet. There were so many people who disliked Damien that some even applauded. Damien was furious. He struggled to get up, his face covered in filth. Garrett, go to hell. The 2 of them fought again. Giselle seemed to enjoy the scene of 2 men fighting over her. She said a few perfunctory words, stop fighting, stop fighting. Then she sat aside and calmly started drinking tea. I couldn't stand it anymore. Giselle, tell your men to get out of this floor. If they want to fight, do it outside. There were other patients here, and the operating room was next door. If the medical equipment was damaged, it would be useless in the future. Giselle didn't move. As soon as my hand touched the handle of the knife, Garrett pounced on me like a mad dog. The team leader shouted, watch out. My reflexes were excellent, and I quickly dodged to the side. When I looked up, I saw Garrett standing beside Giselle like a knight. This Garrett has no conscience at all. Freya saved his life. The way he just tried to attack her, weren't they getting along well some time ago? How could it have come to this? It must be Giselle. She loves being a home wrecker, you all know that. How many boyfriends has she stolen? Hearing this, Garrett gave a fierce glare. It's true that Dr. Freya is my savior, but Giselle is my lover. These are two different things. Giselle is not a home wrecker. Don't let me hear such words again. Giselle looked up at him shyly. Their mouths are their own. Let them talk, as long as you believe me. Garrett, I felt like vomiting. Garrett, I should have let you die in the warehouse. Garrett's eyes were cold. Dr. Freya, if you insist on being Giselle's enemy, don't blame me for being ruthless. Giselle was extremely proud and laughed triumphantly. Oh, Garrett, why say such things? We should thank Freya for bringing you to me. I clenched my fists and took several deep breaths. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to resist pulling out my gun. Giselle smiled and leaned close to my ear, whispering, Freya, I'm going to take everything from you. You don't deserve anything good, only I do. 14. Soon, Garrett was almost fully recovered. His name appeared on the mission list. He invited Giselle. Let's go on a mission together tomorrow. Bring Damien. I want to make up with him. After all, we both just want to be by your side. His tone was deliberately magnanimous, but his expression showed a hint of grievance. Giselle kissed his cheek. Baby, you're so sensible, among all these people. You're my favorite. With just a few words, she made Garrett happy. On the day of departure, I stood on the sentry post and watched their car drive away. For each mission, 5 people formed a group. In that car, besides Giselle, Damien, and Garrett, there were 2 other marked people. 20 minutes later, I secretly slipped out of the base. They had already arrived at the school and were searching for supplies. I entered through the back door, which I was familiar with, and used a telescope to observe their movements. Soon, the right moment came, and I opened the gate. Inside, there were all zombies. This was simply repaying her in the same way she had treated me, just like me before. Giselle quickly realized something was wrong and shouted, Protect me. But on the way, Garrett had quietly separated Giselle and Damien from the others. As soon as I opened the door, Garrett took action, as we had agreed. He pushed the 2 marked people into a room by the roadside and locked the door from the outside. His actions were smooth and decisive. Giselle shouted, Garrett, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Garrett wasn't crazy. This was all part of our plan. The previous act in front of everyone was to make Giselle believe that Garrett was completely under her control and that her system was all-powerful. Perhaps the system had already reminded her that she couldn't fully control Garrett. But Giselle was too confident, and Garrett had acted too well. This route had also been planned by me long ago. All Garrett had to do was lead them here. Under the influence of the system, Garrett couldn't harm Giselle, so I had to be the one to kill her. Damien stood in front of Giselle, fighting off zombies while trying to persuade Garrett. Garrett, have you forgotten our oath? We said we would always protect Giselle. I quickly climbed onto the platform and laughed. You've read too many novels, such cheesy lines. I played with the small knife in my hand and aimed it at Damien's shoulder. The knife pierced into his scapula, and Damien let out a cry of pain. The zombies gathered at my feet heard the commotion and all turned to attack him. Giselle aimed her gun at me and fired wildly. Die, die, die. I'm going to kill you, you bitch. It was laughable. She couldn't aim properly at all. When the magazine was empty, Giselle cried pitifully, Garrett, come and save me. Why don't you love me anymore? I'm Giselle. Garrett looked conflicted but remained unmoved. Finally, Damien was bitten. Before he died, he brought Giselle to the stairs, using his body to block the zombies and telling her to run. So touching, I applauded and then turned to chase after Giselle. She was trapped on the 4th floor by zombies. She hadn't killed zombies on her own for so long that her movements were extremely clumsy. I cleared the surrounding zombies, grabbed her hair, and dragged her towards the rooftop. Giselle kept struggling. Freya, you bitch, you won't die a good death. Let me tell you, do you know why I had to make your brother die? Because your brother was too good to you. I previously asked Hugo to kill his friends, and he did it without hesitation, but your brother wouldn't even scold you. What use was such a lackey to me? How could she say such things? I slapped her hard. Do you have any humanity left? You're insane? I hated her so much, but she kept talking. I'll tell you, I also arranged for people to harm you during those missions, but who knew you were so lucky that you just wouldn't die? It was because I had a system too. As soon as it sensed homicidal intent, the system would remind me. She was about to speak again, but I suddenly laughed. Giselle, are you telling me all this to buy time? 15. She froze. I continued. Are you waiting for your system to notify others to come? I shook my head. Unfortunately, it's too late. Giselle looked shocked. How do you know I have a system? I held the small knife and gently scraped her face. Because I have one too. Each system has its own characteristics. My system is soft-hearted and greedy. As soon as I give it points, it happily tells me everything. But Giselle's system doesn't. She might have noticed my transformation and even suspected that I was like her. But after her system casually dismissed her concerns, she stopped caring. She was vicious, stupid, shallow, pleasure-seeking, and unwilling to endure hardship, so she only used the favorite pet system to satisfy her vanity and her love-struck nature. The original purpose of the system was to help us resist the end times and enable humanity to defeat the zombie virus. But she abused it. In the end times, the terrifying thing wasn't the zombies, but humans. They were unrestrained, committing arson, murder, looting, and killing each other. Her system could have been used to build a huge, friendly, harmonious, and invincible base. She could have used the system to resolve disputes between different teams and form a unified front against the zombies. There were so many things she could have done. But what did she do? She used it all to harm her own kind. It wasn't easy for you to get this face, was it? She used the favorite pet system to obtain the face she had always dreamed of. With a firm tug of my hand, I slashed her face, blood gushed out. I held up a mirror in front of her and said, "So ugly." Giselle covered her face and, like a madwoman, collapsed and screamed, my face, how could this happen?" She tried to bite me, but I slapped her down to the ground. "Give me back my face. Give me back my face. You're a complete lunatic." I grabbed her hair harshly. "In terms of being crazy, who the hell can match you? How many people have you killed?" She retorted confidently, "This is the apocalypse. I did all this just to survive. What's wrong with that? You did nothing wrong. You killed so many people and you think you're innocent. They were just unlucky. Why weren't they the chosen ones? Why didn't they have a system?" Suddenly, as if she had an idea, she started speaking directly to her system. "Change my marked target to Freya," the favorite pet system reminded her coldly. "Sorry, insufficient points," my system chimed in. "To mark my host, you'd have to kill at least 1,000 zombies." Giselle shrieked, "That's impossible. It can't be. You're lying to me. I want to mark Freya." She still refused to repent. I dragged her to the edge of the rooftop. The zombies surrounded us, waving their hands, as if eagerly awaiting the upcoming feast. One look was all it took for Giselle to drop to her knees. "No, don't do this to me. Someone will definitely come to save me. Where are my admirers? Where did they all go?" She was terrified, with tears and snot all over her face. "I'll never do it again. I was wrong. Freya, spare me. I'll turn over a new leaf. I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have killed your brother. I shouldn't have hurt you. I was wrong. Don't feed me to the zombies. We're the same kind. We're all human." Without hesitation, I pushed her off. Her eyes were filled with terror, and she reached out her hands as if trying to grab me. My system chuckled foolishly. "Little favorite pet system, why did you pick such a lousy host? If she were my host, with her strong ambition and broad vision, the human front would have been united long ago. This Giselle is both stupid and vicious. You really got stuck with her." The favorite pet system emitted a calm metallic voice, detecting the host's life force draining. "Remove binding immediately," Giselle wailed. "No, get away, don't bite me, go away." The zombies tore at her limbs. A pale yellow liquid flowed from beneath her. Her once beautiful face was gnawed beyond recognition. She must have felt the same pain my brother did when he died. Giselle was soon overwhelmed by the horde of zombies and fell silent. Garrett stood behind me. Without asking anything, he simply said, "Shall we go?" Epilogue. On the 5,746th day of the apocalypse, humanity developed a vaccine for the zombie virus. On the 6,236th day of the apocalypse, the zombie virus disappeared completely, and humanity entered a new and glorious era. My system cheered. "Hooray, we've finally made it." Standing high up, looking at the homeland being rebuilt day by day, I asked the system, "Where do you guys actually come from? 300 years from now?" Humanity suffered a crushing defeat in this battle. The last group of survivors boarded the spaceship Star of Hope to flee the Earth. My creator was one of them. Well, my mission is accomplished. It's time to say goodbye, my dear leader. This time, please take good care of the environment and cherish the Earth.